Welcome to the SEO.co Search Engine Optimization Podcast. Digital marketing essentials and next-level tactics. From off-site and on-site optimization to persuasive selling and everything in between. You'll learn actionable tips on what it takes to outright and outrank your competition.
On-screen pop-ups, annoying, but are they effective? Using on-screen pop-ups as a controversial lead generation tactic. On one hand, many people find pop-ups annoying. However, the research shows pop-ups are highly effective and have a high conversion rate. For instance, the average pop-up converts at 3%, while a large number convert at around 10%. Some pop-ups convert as high as 50 to 60%. This apparent discrepancy is why pop-ups are so controversial. They're annoying and effective at the same time. How can this be? The answer lies in the type of pop-up and how it's presented. Many people find most pop-ups annoying, but not all. Some users just ignore pop-ups, while others see them as relevant and helpful. For example, when a pop-up offer is interesting, visitors don't experience the pop-up as annoying. And if a pop-up isn't too obnoxious, many users who aren't interested have no problem closing the pop-up. So, what makes some pop-ups annoying? It all comes down to the way a pop-up is served and how easy it can be closed. What makes pop-ups effective? Let's discuss. 1. What makes a pop-up annoying? Since not all pop-ups are annoying, it's important to identify the specific elements that make a pop-up annoying to website visitors. Once you identify these elements, you can avoid incorporating them into your pop-ups. The following elements can make pop-ups annoying. Videos that play automatically. Most visitors don't like videos to play automatically, but videos in a pop-up are worse because they're entirely unexpected. If someone is at work, on a bus, or in a public place, a video that plays automatically can be embarrassing or a disruption to others. Obnoxious or startling sounds that play automatically. Sound effects aren't a good match for pop-ups. Just like videos that play automatically, sounds that play automatically, even a quick pop or whistle sound, can startle and/or annoy visitors. This is especially true for neurodivergent visitors who are highly sensitive to unexpected sounds. Flashing animations. Turning your pop-ups into a disco party isn't a good idea. Flashing images can be extremely irritating to visitors, and can be dangerous for visitors prone to seizures. The X to close the pop-up is hard to find or non-existent. Some visitors aren't annoyed by pop-ups they're not interested in, they just close them out. However, when your pop-up is hard to close out, people will become annoyed fast. Nobody wants to be presented with an advertisement they can't ignore. It takes multiple clicks to close the pop-up. If you're using software that requires a visitor to click multiple times to close your pop-up, you're annoying your visitors. Yes, you can get software that intentionally makes it hard for people to close a pop-up in hopes that they'll give in and sign up for your email list, but it's not worth annoying people. You'll lose more people than you'll gain. The pop-up can't be closed without entering an email address. People don't like being required to enter their email address to view a website. Don't use pop-ups as a barrier for accessing your content. You'll lose traffic and you won't get many sign-ups. This is similar to how people don't want to create an account just to check out. Every sign-up requirement is a barrier to your content. Content barriers kill conversions. The pop-up takes up the entire screen. Visitors like to see your website underneath your pop-up. Even though they can't access your site until they close the pop-up, seeing your content makes them feel better about visiting your site. When a pop-up takes up the entire screen, visitors start to wonder if they're in the right place. Full-screen pop-ups are seen as a barrier to your content rather than an option to get more content. Full-screen pop-ups are also perceived as spammy. The typography and/or color scheme is hard on the eyes. When a pop-up isn't aesthetically pleasing, visitors will start looking for the X to close it out before reading the headline. However, the handful of visitors who would read an obnoxious pop-up might close the pop-up if the typography is hard on their eyes. The pop-up appears immediately, before the visitor can see your website. A pop-up that appears immediately before your webpage loads is almost guaranteed to annoy your visitors. People want to know they've landed in the right place before being hit with advertisements. Even the most well-intentioned pop-up designed to help visitors will be seen as an annoying advertisement when served intrusively. The content delivered in the pop-up appears to be spammy. You can put anything in a pop-up, but that doesn't mean you should. When pop-up content appears spammy, visitors will close it out and probably never return. The pop-up gets delivered to every visitor on every visit. Serving a pop-up to every visitor is acceptable. However, once a visitor closes your pop-up or signs up for your email list, you don't want to deliver a pop-up to that visitor on subsequent visits. Visitors will be annoyed if they need to close a pop-up each time they visit your site. 2. What elements make a pop-up successful? Pop-ups aren't inherently successful, you have to make them work. Once you identify the elements that support conversions, you can incorporate them into your pop-ups. The following elements make pop-ups successful. Your pop-up presents a relevant, irresistible offer. Every successful pop-up begins with a relevant, irresistible offer. To create this kind of offer, you can't just use any offer that comes to mind. You have to create an offer centered on what your target audience prefers, and then you have to make sure your SEO campaign targets the right visitors. A relevant, irresistible offer shown to the wrong market will fail. For example, if your offer is solid, but you're targeting the wrong demographics, you won't get many signups. On the other hand, when your offer is solid and you're targeting the right demographics, your conversion rate will soar. Your pop-up is easy to close and the X is obvious. When a visitor lands on your website and encounters a pop-up, a clearly visible X will make them feel comfortable. When your visitors feel comfortable upon arrival, they won't desperately look for a way to close your pop-up before reading the headline. Visitors want to know they are in control of their web browsing experience. When the X is immediately visible and obvious, visitors will know it's just a pop-up and not one of those spammy ads that takes over the entire website and blocks access to the content. Your pop-up isn't full screen. Pop-ups should be contained in a smaller window in the middle of the screen and should not be full screen. A full-screen pop-up serves as a barrier to your content and makes visitors wonder if they're in the right place. On the flip side, a small, unobtrusive pop-up box positioned in the middle of your webpage will still allow visitors to see the general outline of your content. They'll quickly know if they're in the right place even when they can't read the content on your page. Your typography and color scheme are fantastic. Attractive pop-up imagery is powerful. You want your imagery to be aesthetically pleasing and your typography should be easy to read. When visitors have an immediate, positive impression of your pop-up, they're more likely to read your marketing message and sign up for your email list. Your pop-up uses a time delay. An AppSumo study found that time-delayed pop-ups are most effective. For instance, pop-ups that appear after 4 seconds outperform pop-ups that appear immediately or in less than 4 seconds. This makes sense considering people don't want to be bombarded with marketing messages. You're using an exit intent pop-up. Exit intent pop-ups are highly effective. These are the pop-ups that appear as a visitor navigates away from your website. Part of the reason exit intent pop-ups work so well is because they are time-delayed. Exit intent pop-ups are time-delayed until the visitor is ready to leave. Instead of serving your pop-up after 4 seconds, you serve the exit intent pop-up when the visitor moves their mouse away from the browser window or tab. This type of pop-up is effective because you're not intruding on your visitor's browsing session. Also, they'll be more familiar with you and your content by the time they see your pop-up. If you've been able to build any amount of rapport with a visitor through your content, they'll be warmer lead than when they first arrived. If you haven't created an exit intent pop-up yet, now is a great time to get started. For ideas, check out Campaign Monitor's list of 60 exit intent pop-ups that convert. 3. Why use pop-ups at all? Wouldn't a static sign-up form be enough? You might be wondering if pop-ups work. Wouldn't a static sign-up form also work? Why go through all the trouble of programming a pop-up and annoying some visitors just to get sign-ups, if a static sign-up form would do the trick? The short answer is that pop-ups are more effective at generating conversions. However, you shouldn't rely on pop-ups alone for your conversions. It's important to have a variety of email capture strategies in play, including pop-ups, static sign-up forms, and any other method you're using. Even though you really need to use both, here's why pop-ups are more effective than static sign-up forms. Pop-ups convert more than static sign-up forms, plain and simple. Pop-ups put your offer directly in front of your visitors. Static sign-up forms, on the other hand, must be noticed to be effective. Sometimes people notice static sign-up forms, but their attention is divided, so they keep scrolling. A pop-up can't be ignored. Pop-ups get high conversion rates. The average conversion rate for a well-designed pop-up is around 3%. However, don't let the single-digit number fool you. If you get 50,000 unique visitors each month, a 3% conversion rate amounts to 1,500 signups. Imagine generating 1,500 new email subscribers each month. After 1 year, your list will grow by 18,000 subscribers. Those are good numbers.
Thank you for joining us on the SEO.co podcast. We appreciate your time. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show, and visit SEO.co for more resources based on today's topic, as well as access to more podcast episodes to help you improve your site's long-term SEO success.